Hello, this is Ace. More of you could probably know me by my in-game nickname, which is Irie, and I am PvP player playing Gunner on main class. As for my achievements, I could mention that I was the top 3 Gunner ever since the class got released on Europe. And today I would like you to give a brief insight of what skills you should use and what skills of the Gunner basically does in most of the matchups. Starting off with your RB, this is your primary damage tool, is your quick shot. It just deals damage like any other kind of RB. As for the spec, you always want the HP drain. This skill is currently in bad condition and you should never use it because it deals less damage and takes more chi. The stunned wind barrels have 3 specs. This is your primary CC tool. It knockdowns, stuns, or dazes, depends on the spec you want. You shouldn't use daze. The stun is a more reliable CC for Gunner because you don't need to tech chase after it, and you can just get rid of the tab escape for your opponent or lead into an aerial. As for the second spec, you should use this against Destroyer or Blade Dancers to open them up and make them stop spinning. Also worth mentioning that this skill cannot land midair or against opponents that glides, jump, run, or even move sometimes. So this should be used as an opening, is a surprise act of CC or as a tech chase. Next is the C ability, it's Sidewinder, the three specs. The Firefall is the first one, is PvE Firefall, but it should be used, picked against Summoners and Force Masters, because if the opponent is in range of this one, it allows you to use your F, which is Unload, your biggest damage tool in the game, that goes through the projectile defenses like the Divine Veil, Petal Storm, or Smoke Screen. So this is you can still attack Summoner or Force Master or Assassin, even though they popped off their projectile resistances. This spec is actually bugged and says that it blocks upper skills for 6 seconds, but it doesn't, so you don't want to use this. Instead, you will use this skill, because it blocks your opponent movement skill, it sucks them in, that could remove Assassin Stealth or Summoner Stealth. Also forces your opponent to either stay in place or use any of the iframe bubbles ability or movement abilities like SS or E in Assassin's case, or any kind of other movement ability. As for your repline, there are 2. The first one is 12 meters, the second one is 10 to 18 meters. I will explain this one because it's not clear to some people. The first one will always move you 12 meters. Like, no matter where I aim, the first move always moves you 12 meters in front of you. The second one moves you from 10 to 12, depends on where you aim. If you aim close, you will go closer for 10 meters, like this one. And if you aim further, you will go up to 18 meters, depends on where you aim. So picking this one is according to own self-preferences. If you want HP regen on resist and the 12 meters one, or if you want a speed buff and move further from your opponent, or get closer to your opponent if he's stalling and running from you. Also worth mentioning is that this one is able to be casted every time, even if you don't have enough space. Sorry, the first one. It allows you to move even if you're close to the wall. You can use it basically in place. It will always proc and give you an iframe you need. This one actually doesn't do that because you need at least 10 meters to be able to use it. It's blackout, you can't use it unless you have 10 meters range. So you should keep that in mind while playing against Force Masters or any other kind of class that has a root, and you might end up near the wall, so you won't be able to use it. The next one is Bull Rush. This is PvE. You should use this one or this one. This is longer cooldown, but it dazes twice on use and then area of effect around you. It's good against assassins and summoners if you want to catch them while they're on stealth, but you should use this one. This is your primary V tool. It's good for tech chasing, it's good for chasing people and getting away from them if all other abilities are down. As for tombstones, this is PvE tombstone. You don't want to use this one, you will use always this. This gives you 2 seconds of iframe and 8 seconds of little effect. Little effect makes your unloads, which is F, to go through blocks and any kind of protection, unless except iframes. So you can use your unloads against to poke people down or finish the duel. If you find yourself against a class that tends to block and you're not sure if you can use your normal abilities against this. Also, it generates 8 explosive rounds that are necessary to use unload. You can get up to 8 of them, 2 bullets per 2 seconds. So there are 4 ticks that generates 2 bullets if you are not on the max, which is 5. As for counters, this one is bad. You shouldn't ever use it. You should use one of these. This is lower cooldown and provides an iframe on successful counter. And this one has 9-second cooldown but stuns instead of providing the iframe. Also, if the return fire, which stuns, hits the opponent, you will get an extra hook for it. Also, you have to remember that the return fire projectile is very slow, so you can hit into a block of assassins, granting them free stealth, or into counter of Kung Fu Masters, or iframe, or Blade Master block. And you should use it wisely to not get hit. Do not hit. I mean, other classes can abuse this one to get their counter procs. Your F is a trip shot. It's a CC. You can use it during the block, so it's basically one F ability. It ticks twice and stuns on the second tick. The first tick is after you use it, and the second tick follows like 0.5 second later, and it approaches the CC. Knockdown or stun. Both of these can be blocked, and both of these can be deflected. You should be aware of using this against destroyers and blade dancers, because you can get deflected twice. On the first one, and if the first one doesn't deflect you, you can still get deflected on the second one. So you should be aware of that. You should always take stun, unless you want to have more openers against destroyers and blade dancers. So you could take this one for another option for opening them. As for 4, these two are bad. You should use this one. It deals a lot of damage, and this is your primary combo tool. You will be using this on stunned opponents or during aerials. As for Daze Bomb, it's your free. This skill is the only one that penetrates defenses, like blocks, of other classes. But it's really slow projectile that has a slow traveling time and a high cooldown. So be aware when you're using it, because if you use this one, waste this one, then persistent block classes can just block entire day against you, and you have no way to open them up unless you catch them off guard. There are 2 Sky Stones. You should use the resist one. The second puts you in danger of getting aerial comboed or receiving free damage from other classes. So yes, you should use the resist one. After using the resist one and going up into the air, you have an access to another Sky Stone, because the previous one disappears once you use the hook to it. But then you can use a second Sky Stone that lasts also for 30 seconds, and you can also use Q to it for another iframe. This is your best long iframe, because both of the Sky Stones gives you 2 seconds resist while you are slicing to them. And you get access to different skills while in air. Also, you can use this as a stall tool, because you can glide off it, and there's no many abilities that can hit you while gliding. Also, you can use it for surprise attacks and other things, but more of this in the advanced combo material videos. Ricochet is your F. It will proc every time you resist anything with E, which is your hook line, your whip line. There are 2 specs, one for poke, one for daze. By the way, this one dazes for 2 seconds, not 3. This is also a 5-hit projectile, so it is really good for taking down 5-hit bubbles like Bastion, True Friend, or Self-Defense Chi, or even Deadlock from other gunners. It will pop them instantly when you press it, so it may catch people off guard. You should keep that in mind, to use it not only for CC, but also to catch people off guard by taking down their 5-hit bubbles instantly. As for skills that are not trainable, and worth mentioning, is the reload. You can reload all the time. It gives you entire chi back and generates 2 hooks every 12 seconds when it's off cooldown. You should always use it when it's off cooldown to generate hooks. This is your 1 getup, not worth mentioning. SS, this is your backstep. It's actually kind of good, because it's 1.5 seconds iframe, but it can backfire at you if you use it while close to others. This skill deals damage 3 meters around you. It's good to it might actually be helpful to taking assassins and summoners out of stealth, but it may also proc their party defense, granting them stealth, and it also can proc things like fire kick or just giving stacks of agility to Kung Fu Masters. So you should be wary you don't use it while near other classes that can benefit from you using it. This is your standard 5-hit bubble, 5-second cyphering, 5 hits, 5% HP back, and breaks from the snares. Dive Bomb. This skill is used to instantly get down from the Skystone. Like this, you don't have to glide, you can just instantly go down, but this skill's animation locks you in for 1 second, basically 1 second. So you should be aware of using it, not to get caught while you are animation locked. This is a stun and damage skill while you are in air, but these two are not available while using Resist Skystone, so you will never use them unless you want to troll. These two are the airborne extenders and skills that are available only during Skystone. This one, if hits, grants you 5 explosive rounds, and this one creates damaging field below the enemy. Also, they increase your they extend your airborne time by 1.5 and 2.6 seconds. Remember that the Skystone gives you only 2 seconds of iframe. After this time, you are vulnerable to any kind of airborne extensions, or the combo of their classes, or skills that can catch you off midair, like Phantom Grips or stuns, like Force Blast from Force Masters. So be aware when you use this, or have a backup plan, like going faster down with Quick Fall, which consumes a hook, but makes you fall down instantly, like this. But it doesn't provide an iframe, so be aware of that. For other skills, what else is there to mention? Probably your Cannonade. This works exactly like Ricochet. Also have a 5 projectile ability. It also pops instantly the bubbles of others, but this skill pierces defense and parry skills, so it's more safe to use than this one, but it doesn't CC. So, and it procs of this SS resist. You should use it as a damage tool and as a bubble pop. This is your aerials. Worth mentioning about aerial is that you can proc it only when the target is stunned or dazed, and you have to use your reload, and then it enables you to use your aerial. Your knockup. Aside of this, there are 2 ultimate skills. This charges and channels for a very long time, so there won't be many occasions to use this one. On the other hand, this is Flare. Works very similar to the Assassin Stab Escape. It will blind and render enemy player paralyzed for 1 second, giving you an opening for SCC. But it's not that good. It actually only blinds people, so nothing big actually. Aside of this is Elite Rain. This is a skill that is available on the first hit of your RB when you are in air. When you are in air and use it, this would be the first hit before the machine gun one, and that's similar to your RB. What the skill does is extending the CCs. If you hit the daze, go up into the air and use it, you will extend the daze for another 2 seconds. It works similar to Dual Strike of Blade Masters. I don't think there's any other skill worth mentioning. So the skill setup is probably very clear on Gunner. There's not many options that are good and useful. The only thing you should probably switch around are the hooks. Depends on the weapons. Depends on what you like. Probably these two, and of course use knockdowns against Destroyer and Blade Dancer to open them up. This should be everything for the Gunner skills introduction. More of in the future videos. Thanks for watching.